Hey, I'm Josh.
And I'm Alan.
And one of the things that we've been excited about over the last couple of years here at River Tree is just writing songs together. It's been a joy to write songs really specifically for River Tree and the work that God is doing here at River Tree. I mean, that really is what's in our hearts and our minds as we put pen to paper. And what's been really cool to see is not only the church grab a hold of a few of these songs, like Pursuing the Promise, but also just coming off of summer camps this summer, but traveling throughout the year to different events and student ministry events and adult events, but is seeing even the church outside of the walls of River Tree sing these songs. And I mean, the great thing is that our heart is to write these songs specifically with River Tree in mind, but they're gospel truth. So you can go outside of River Tree and do these songs as well. And it's just been, it's been a really sweet season. And really, I'm incredibly thankful for a community that wants to grab a hold and sing these songs. It's just been really sweet.
It's neat to hear the stories of our community, and then the Lord give us a song to share the gospel, but also with your stories in mind. We know that there's victory and joy within the hearts of our people, and also sometimes there's pain and suffering, and this question that has been written down, how could we not be moved, is meant for everyone to ask. And sometimes it's easy when you're in a season of victory and when you're in a season of joy. And I think this question just will grow you. How could we not be moved? Will challenge you to grow even in seasons of pain and suffering and hurt and maybe some disappointment, to let you know that, hey, God's not done with you.
How could we not be moved? I mean, the title of the song, it was birthed out of this moment where it was very early in the morning, way too early in the morning for me. It was like 4:30, I don't remember. And I was at a songwriting retreat right after Al and I had been praying through what's the next song, and we were already kind of coming up with this idea of, could we write a song that is just like, they are foundational biblical truths of the gospel. Like, how do we do something like that, but then not just stir our intellect and our minds, but how do we stir hearts and emotions and affections? Because right. I mean, that is one of the beautiful things about music. I mean, like, you can play a C chord and it's going to do something, like it evokes some kind of response. So we were praying through, how do we come up with lyrics that are just foundational gospel truths? But then is there a way then to say, so what do we do with that? So I remember reading the lyrics that morning and me writing a question down for me. And the question was, how can I not be moved? As I read these lyrics, I just thought, this is the truth of the gospel. And really, that's what How Could We Not Be Moved does. It kind of, it's biblical theology. It starts with, we're in union with the Lord. Like, we could look upon his face, but then the lust of flesh and pride of life, as 1 John says, would break this communion. And then we're looking ahead in this song to the proclamation of Jesus, rich in mercy. He came to us and he brought back this communion. And then we will step from glory to glory, and one day we will look upon the face of God again, was the whole idea. And as I started reading back these lyrics, I thought, how does this not move me? Like, and it should. And that was really kind of the simple general idea of the song.
Yeah. I love the question, and I just want to come back to it. It's challenging us to not look inward, not just look inwardly, but to remember the gospel. I know that, I've experienced hardship in my life. I've experienced pain. And in the moment, it's like our eyes are inward. And I love it when we sing this song on Sunday, which we've sung a couple times, maybe 3, I think.
Yeah.
And every time I ask that question, it brings my heart to a place of peace with the Lord, knowing that the ultimate work is done and this affliction is light and momentary, that it will pass, that this too shall pass. And this past Sunday when we sang it, it was incredible. It was really incredible to see the people, see our friends really just dig into that truth. How could we not be moved? And verse 2, by the way, is my favorite. That imagery is just one of my favorites. And even though it's kind of like the flesh part of the song, which is not a great image, like to, like, it's not enjoyable to know that.
Yeah.
We're fleshly beings and we tend to sin, but just to know that, man, that was the past. That was my old self. And just the hope, the advent of hope in Jesus is just so sweet.
Yeah, well, I've heard, several
The
times.
contrast,
When,
yeah.
when I've
Love
done like student camps and stuff, like you've probably heard at some point, like it's not good news without bad news, right? Like
That's
it's
exactly
just
right.
news, right?
Yeah.
So the bad news is what makes the grace of God so insanely ridiculous. Like it makes what he did for us so, immense and massive and overwhelming. One of my favorite parts of the song, actually, because it may be the first time this has ever happened in a write. So I brought these lyrics and I brought them to 3 writers who are incredible. One, her name's Laura, Cliff Preston, and then Jenny Riddle, who's incredible. And I brought this to them, and there was a moment where Jenny was like, hey, just sing what you have. And we had some melodies at this point, a chorus. And so I sang, and then she was like, just keep playing and just worship the Lord. And that's when that's how the bridge came. So the bridge was like a completely spontaneous moment. The chord progression and the lyrics were completely spontaneous.
Wow.
They were so spontaneous that we, thank goodness, had a phone in the room recording. So we had to go
Yes.
back and rewind and hear what we sang. And it was legitimately like we were just sitting there like, how can we not be moved? It's one of my favorite parts of the whole song. And really just because there are times where you're trying to write a good lyric. And then there's
Yes.
just moments where you're worshiping Jesus, and then it's just an overflow of the moment. Yeah. So that's been the bridge. I mean, ever since, there was no writing of a bridge. It was just we worshiped with the song, and then that happened.
So thanks for trusting us. Writing this song has been an incredible journey. And just know that we've written this song with you in mind. Like, our hope for you is when we sing this song to let that question challenge you, let it grow you, because we love you and we want to shepherd you to Jesus. That's our heart, and that's the heart for the song. So thank you.